Hi guys, Mrs. Smith here, missing you loads, but I thought I'd share with you one of my favourite books. It's The Last Wild by Piers Torday. Part 1, Spectrum Hall. My story begins with me sitting on a bed looking out of the window. I know that doesn't sound like much, but let me tell you where the bed is and what I can see from it. This bed is right in the corner of a room, only just big enough for it, and the bed is only just big enough for a kid of my age, 12, just about to be 13, and skinny. The window is the size of the whole wall, made of special tinted glass that means the whole room stays the same temperature all the time. The room is locked shut and you need an electronic key card to open the door. If you could open it, you would be in a long corridor with absolutely nothing in it apart from cameras in the ceiling and a fat man in a purple jacket and trousers sitting opposite on a plastic chair, sleeping most likely. This fat man is called a warden, and there are lots of them here, but I think he's probably the fattest. The corridor with the cameras and the fat warden is on the 7th floor of a building which is like a big upside-down boat made of glass and metal. Everywhere you look there are reflections of you, other faces, the storm clouds. The curved glass walls stretch all the way down to the edge of some very high cliffs, only grass and mud for miles around, with rocks and sea below. The cliffs are the north of the island, in the middle of the quarantine zone, far away from the city and my home. The name of this building is Spectrum Hall, or in full, Spectrum Hall Academy for Challenging Children. It's just like a big school mainly, only the most boring school in the world that you can never ever leave. And as for what I can see out of the window, I know that what is really there is sea and sky and rocks, but the light in the ceiling bounces off the glass into my eyes, so when I look out into the dark sky, all I can actually see is my reflection. That and the hairy grey varmint flapping over about in the corner. A moth is what they call this kind, with antennae and spotted grey wings. I shoo him away, only to send him circling round the light above. I try to ignore the flittering noise above me and carry on with my practice. Bed, chair, one screw to the floor, window, my watch. Lots of words to practice with. You see, I know what the words mean, I know how to write them, I just can't say them. No more than the moth can. Not since Mum died. I looked at my watch again, the chunky green digital one she gave me, the last present I ever got from her, my favourite present I ever got from her. Even Dad nicked it once because he thought it was nifty and had to hassle him to give it me back. I'm lucky to still have it. We aren't meant to keep anything personal at the hall, but I kicked and I bit so they couldn't take it. I flicked the picture onto the screen. It's a summer afternoon in our garden, behind our house in the city. You can just see the sun shining on the River Ams, gleaming beyond the top of the back wall, and far away on the other side, the skyline of the tall towers. Premium. City of the south and capital of the island. When the rest of the world grew too hot and cracked open in the sun, everyone came to live on this cold grey rock, the island, in their hundreds and thousands. If only it was hot here sometimes. The weather is never good, but for me this picture has just always been where our home is, where Dad is, and where, one day, I'll know I'll return. Right now though, I'm more interested in the person in the garden. It's my mum Laura, before she got sick. She has long curly hair the colour of shiny new coins, and she's laughing at something Dad or I have said. I used to be able to talk normal, you see, like everyone. Mum and I talked a lot, Dad and I talked a bit. Now though, it's like trying to learn the hardest language in the world. I know I can inside, it's just when I try to speak, nothing happens. The more I try, the harder it gets. They want to make me talk again here, Dr. Fredericks with his tests, but it's not working. People still stare at you funny as you go red in the face, or sometimes they laugh and make up what they think you were going to say. I'd rather try and talk to a varmint, thanks. There's enough of them, that's for sure. Flapping moths that circle round lights, like the one in my room right now, and spiders lurking in corners, or cockroaches scuttling around by the bins. All the useless insects and pests that the red eye left behind. We don't even bother with their real names half the time. Varmints is all they are. And I've practiced talking to them as it happens. Not that you're meant to go near them, even though everyone knows they're the only thing that can't get the virus. So I haven't reported this flapping one in my room, because I like practicing him with him here buzzing around. He won't talk back, but at least he doesn't laugh or stare. I can almost pretend he's listening. I do that a lot. Right, varmint, I say to myself in my head, let's see what you think I'm saying this time. So I'm just about to have a go at saying bed again, or at least the B, or even a noise that sounds like a B, when the speaker hidden in the ceiling splutters into life. You can almost see the spit flying out of the holes. The varmint whirls angrily away. He doesn't like it any more than I do. Calling all our students, your first meal of the day is served in the yard. You have 10 minutes. There's a clank as he replaces the microphone in its stand, and a hum as he forgets to turn it off, and I hear his heavy breathing for a minute before he remembers and flicks the switch. Dr. Fredericks, the governor. He can give himself as many titles as he likes. He's still just an ugly man in a white coat with a comb over, whose breath smells of sweets. The day after they brought me here, bundled out of my home in the middle of the night, I gathered with all the new kids in the yard while he stood behind a lectern reading words off a screen, his jacket flapping in the aircon. Good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome to Spectrum Hall. You've been sent here because your parents want to forget about you. Your schools can no longer tolerate you, so they've asked us to help. Because we're a special institution dealing with special cases like yours, and I'll tell you now how it's going to work. The amplified words bounced off the walls. Look behind you at the sea. It is the filthiest and most polluted sea in the world, we're told. He stared down at us through his bottle-top glasses and flicked away a loose strand of greasy hair as we gazed out of the glass walls behind us at the waves chopping and crashing at the cliffs. But I didn't believe that Dad wanted to forget about me. 6 years later, I still don't. There are two ways out of here, through our front gates as an improved and functioning member of society, or off these bally cliffs and into sea. So either learn how to modify your behaviour, or jolly well learn how to dive. I haven't learnt to do either yet. I pull on my trackies, shove my feet into my trainers and strap on my watch. Then there's a beep and the light in my door goes red, orange, then green before sliding open with a hiss. The fat warden is standing there in his crumpled purple jacket and trousers, my door key card dangling on a strap from around his wrist. Come on, Jaynes, he mutters, scratching his hairy chin. I haven't got all day. I'm not surprised. With so much sitting on your bum and sleeping to do, I think. That's one of the advantages of not being able to speak. You never get in bother for talking back. I step out into the corridor and wait. One by one, the other doors along me beep and slide open. And out come the other inhabitants of Corridor 7. Boys and girls my age, all in trackies and trainers like me, their hair unbrushed, their faces blank. We look at each other, and then the warden silently points to the other end of the corridor. I feel his eyes boring into my back as we walk past him along the passage and into the open lift. The yard is full of noise, which gets right inside my head, most of it from the queue of the servery, a polished counter set into the wall lined with pots. Metal pots full of pink slop which some women with grey hair and greyer faces are busy dishing out, all of them wearing purple tunics with a big F stamped on the front. F for Factorium, the world's biggest food company, more like the only food company now since the red eye came and killed all the animals. Every last one, apart from the varmints. So Factor started making formula for us to eat instead, which now makes them the only company, full stop. They run everything. First, the government asked them to take care of the red eye, and then they ended up taking care of the government. They run the country now, from hospitals to schools, including this one. I don't know why making food or killing animals makes you good at running schools as well, but the first thing you learn in Facto school is never argue with Facto. What's the flavour, miss? Shouts Wavy J, waving his plastic bowl in the air, somehow first in the queue already. That's why he's called Wavy. He's always at the front of the line, waving. I don't even know his real name. Behind him is Big Brenda, a fat girl with hair in bunches who has to sleep on a reinforced bed. She's here because she ate her mum and dad out of house and home, even during the food shortage, and got so big they couldn't look after her anymore. That pale-faced kid with the bag under his eyes is Tony, who got in trouble for stealing tins of food. And now he's here quietly nicking some headphones out of the bag belonging to Justine, who is here because she was caught being part of a gang of thieves who got around everywhere on bikes, who nicked not just tins of food but anything they could get their hands on, like music players and headphones. That little kid she's talking to with spiky hair and a devil grin, that's Maze, who had an attention deficiency, the kind of attention deficiency that makes you chase your mum around the kitchen with a knife. And then right at the back, behind them all, is me. I know their names, I listen to their conversations, I know why they're here, but I don't know why I am. Chapter 2.